hey, come here. I want to show you something. Come here. Come on. Come here. Yeah, come on. Hurry up. Come here. Okay. I just need this little ladder here. Okay. All right, that doesn't fall. Okay, come on. Okay, it's up in here. Yeah, come on, hard to get up here. Okay. Yeah, follow me. Come here. Closer. Get closer. Come on. Get closer. Not that close. All right, come on. Gotta see this. It's worth it. I know it's hard, but it's worth it. You gotta see this. Come on. All right. Okay, this is what we've come to see. This is 100-year-old wiring. This is how they did it from the very beginning. When they first went from gas lighting to electricity, they didn't really know how to do it. They had wire, they had a very crude insulation that they didn't trust, but they knew that porcelain was an insulator. So these are called knobs with a nail to hold them down. And they put the wire, I think originally without any insulation, but then they put this paper insulation on it. And to show you how good this insulation is, 100 years later, I'm going to put my tongue on it. Oh, no, just joking. Okay. See, nothing. The insulation is still good to this day. It is a shame to take it out. So I'm not going to. But it's not up to code.
So I have to stop using it. This really pains me because whoever installed this did a beautiful job 100 years ago, and I wish I could tell them, job well done. But when it's time, it's time. I can't power it up anymore, but I don't have to remove it. I can leave it here for historical purposes. My attic will just become a museum. But I do have to replace it with a modern residential electric circuits.
But let me show you how clever this is. So they say knob and tubing. The reason for that is anytime the wire got near a piece of wood, they put it through a special tube, an insulated tube, so that it was doubly protected, so that if something went wrong with one of the installations, you had the other one. And they would stretch these knobs between the roof rafters, and you can see every wire is stretched in a straight line, and then they go off in funny angles and down the walls. And when they go down the walls, they go down never two wires together. They have one wire on one side of the soffit and one wire on the other. And if there's three wires, they put it in the next soffit. So in 99.9999999% of the houses in the United States, it's wired with this stuff, Romex. It's extremely common. I mean, everybody uses this. It's pretty nice. It's got plastic coating on the outside, and inside it has three conductors, a black wire, a white wire, and a ground. And the reason why everybody uses this is because it's the cheapest solution that is to code. This is legal, and everybody uses it. However, our house is different in two ways. In one, we live by the ocean, and everything rusts in the salt air. And two, rats. Unfortunately, this house is covered in shingles. This is little pieces of wood that rodents who have continuously growing, ever-sharpening teeth can just easily gnaw through. That was a bad idea. So yeah, even I can gnaw through this stuff. And unfortunately, in this house and other old houses, rats get in. And the thing is, the one thing rats like more than wood is plastic. They chew through this plastic. That's much better. I could chew on this all day long. I can see why they do it. Anyway, there's 51,000 household fires in America every year. And 20 to 25% of the unknown causes is due to rodents. And because we have a wooden house here, we have more rodents than most. If your house is made of concrete and glass or stucco on the outside, you're probably rodent-free, but we're not. So no Romex for us. So what do we use? What are we going to use instead? How about sort of basically the same stuff? It's Romex, same 3 wires inside. These 3 wires, of course, are covered by a metal cladding on the outside. This is metal armored wire. If you look inside, you can see that there's the same 3 wires we had in Romex.
However, there's one thing I don't like about armored cable. If you put a screw through it and you're unlucky enough to hit it straight on, it's going to damage the wires inside. The screw or the nail is going to nick the inside insulation. And as you can see here, we've actually touched the black wire to the ground wire and the white wire. This is disastrous. Okay. Because of this problem, the California Electrical Code requires nailing plates anytime Romex goes through a stud. But these are often forgotten, or the screw can come in from the back side. So I prefer to have a solution that works in any case.
This is an okay alternative, but you can't pull individual wires. This is not conduit. So that is one possibility. Another possibility is plastics. You can actually run it in PVC conduit. Not this PVC, not the stuff you use for your sprinklers. This is white. This is exactly the same stuff, but it's painted gray specifically to indicate that there's high voltage wires inside. And one of my favorite versions of plastic conduit is this watertight flex. It's really great. You can flex it around like you can with it, the other things. It's a lot easier to put in than pipe. But again, we're back to the chewing problem. Rats can chew through this stuff, which leaves metals. So we have, well, there's also a metal pipe too, but that's ridiculous. That's for submarines and battleships. This type of metal is called either steel or aluminum flex. And the way you can tell is a magnet. If a magnet sticks to it, it's steel. Now, steel is stronger than aluminum, and you should use something that's physically strong.
However, even steel flex is not strong enough to withstand a screw. Look, if you use a large enough diameter conduit, the screw just pushes through the wires. Even though the screw went right through the middle of this conduit, it did not touch any of the wires. They all just got out of the way as the screw came by. And that's why I like to use 3/4 inch steel or aluminum flex. Every project must start with a plan. After considering all possible locations for furniture in the room, make a plan for where outlets are most likely to be used. Then hire a licensed electrician. Show him the plan and together refine it. Here's the final plan for Windways. Always use a licensed electrician and have them buy all the materials, partly because they can get contractor discounts, but also it is very important that you use the right materials. You can do a lot of the work yourself, but have the electrician check everything you do. It is also easier to have the electrician get the permits from the city or county, and everything needs to be inspected after it's all done.
Okay, so now that our plan is finished, I strongly recommend going around and putting pieces of tape where the outlet's going. Like for instance, on our 2D plan, it shows an outlet over here, and we already have an outlet over here. However, this one is high up, and we don't do that anymore. All of our outlets are now down low where they're hidden. So on the plan, this might look the same, but in reality, we realize that is very different than that. Now, I picked this location here because it's near a vertical stud. So you got to come in here and clean everything out behind. And oh wait, what's this? Look at this. This, my friends, is my toy box. When I was 2 years old, look at the things you find when you dig out into the back of these old houses. Good heavens, oh, all the toys are gone. But what do we have in here? Oh my gosh. This is a nomination for an Academy Award my dad won got in 75 for the Hindenburg. Wow, isn't that amazing? And look at all these records. It's full of old vinyl records. Here's Nat King Cole, 1975 on that one. Oh, here's some old pictures of Laguna. Look at that. Laguna, 1928. Here's Laguna in 1920. And here's Laguna in 1927. Good heavens. This is what Laguna Beach looked like when this house was being built. we're at the back of the wall, and we want to put the outlet 10 inches up in the middle. That's our standard we're sticking to. But that we're not going to put it exactly at 10 inches. We're going to let the lath tell us where to put it. So to center on 10 inches is about here. And if you notice, a box is 2 pieces of lath. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut 2 of these, just exactly 2. And the way I'm going to do is I'm going to use the box as my guide, and then I'm going to use the oscillating multi-tool to cut. Before we get started, I found the hard way. It's much better to knock these out before you install them. Now we've picked 3/4 inch, so we're going to knock out the second to biggest. And sometimes it's not pretty, but that's good enough. So because we have cut these 2 laths, we need to strengthen them. We need to support them somehow. And I got a box with a flange on it that allows us to support the 2 from the box. So the plan shows an outlet here. The problem is, if you look straight up, this part of the ceiling is touching the roof. There's only 4 inches in there, but here is the attic space. So I can get to here, and I can bring a pipe down here, but I have to come over to where the outlet is. So one of the things I hate is I'm gonna have to take all this plaster out where the outlet is, all the way back to this stud. All right, so we decided on a 10-inch height for the outlets. So we want it to be this high. And now we got to find studs. So we go get the stud finder. This is the stud finder. See you hear that? That's the stud right there. Okay, so this is the stud we got to get on the other side of. So let's go find that stud first. Now that we have removed all the plaster, we got the 2 pieces of lath that we're going to remove. The outlet's going to go over here. We want to cut the lath right in the middle of the stud. And one of the things I've got to brag here is this stud finder is the best in the world. Look at the accuracy. I put the mark there, and look, the center of the stud is like millimeters away. And here's the stud we're going to connect the actual outlet to. Nice. In next week's not so exciting episode, we'll learn how to use this. Hey Ron, what do you think of this? Check that out.
Oh, boy, it looks kind of bright, Anthony.
Thanks. Well, that does it for this episode.
I'm Ron Marlette.
And I'm Anthony Mack, and this is the Windways Project.